Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kinyere. In today's video we are going to be talking about motherhood, being a mother, things that I feel all mothers should know. If you are a new mom, then this whole journey is going to be a bit confusing for you when you just start, because there's so much information out there. People will give you so many different opinions. You will get modern opinions, you will get traditional opinions, you will get all sorts of opinions. I feel like this is something that a lot of women should know, and you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. It has opened my eyes to so many things. It has made me accept myself as who I am. It has made me stronger. It has made me see that there is so much more to me than I actually thought there was. I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 things that I think all mothers should know. So my very first point is that there's no right or wrong. Now I know as adults we know that there are things that you know are right, and then there are things you know are obviously wrong. But in this sense, I'm just saying there are times that there are 2 ways to do a particular thing when it comes to mothering. It can be confusing because none of them is right and none of them is wrong. So a lot of times when I am having like an argument or with a mother about trying to talk about things that we feel are better for a child, I just say go with your gut, or weigh the pros and weigh the cons, whichever one you feel suits you better. Because honestly, there are situations where you find yourself in when it comes to being a mother, and it's like, if you do it this way, it suits you better. But then if Mrs. A does it this way, it suits her better. Let me give you guys an example. Is letting your child sleep with light or letting them sleep in the dark. For me, I would say when it comes to that, there's no right and there's no wrong. But then some people will say let them sleep in the dark so that they get used to it when they become adults. And I'm like, at the end of the day, why do they have to get used to sleeping in the dark? Do you guys understand? Why do they have to get used to sleeping with light? So it's a lot of times with mothering, you find situations where there are just 2 ways to do a certain thing, and then you're torn between which of them to do. So at the end of the day, you need to weigh the pros, weigh the cons. How does it fit your lifestyle? How does it fit how does it work for your family? How does it work for your children? Is it going to benefit them in more ways than it would, the other way around? So times like that, there's really no right and there's no wrong in a lot of situations. I was cooking and my mother-in-law was telling me that she wanted me to put pepper in the food, and I should put a lot of pepper. And I was trying to let her know, I said I don't want to put too much pepper because I want it to be comfortable enough for them to eat. Because usually in my house I like to cook with a reasonable amount of pepper, but then some people like so much pepper in their food. And for me, I want my children to comfortably eat the food. It's a lot of work for me to make another pot of soup for them. Do you guys understand? And I'm not trying to burn myself out. I want to be able to be a mother and still be myself, and still be a wife, and still be so many other things I can be. So I don't want to burn myself out, so I'm always finding easier ways to get things done. So instead of me making 2 different pots of soup, why don't I just minimize the amount of pepper that I put in 1 pot of soup? And she was telling me that you need to let your children master the art of eating pepper. I'm just thinking to myself, is there really any need? Like, why do they need to learn how to eat pepper? When they grow up as adults, there will be situations where they will find themselves having to choose between peppery food and food that is not peppery. And the thing about this life is, no matter how many things you feel that you want to raise your children knowing, when they become adults, where they're able to make their own decisions, a lot of times they drop so many of these things, and sometimes they hold on to the ones that they feel benefit them or they feel more comfortable with. So at the end of the day, the thing, I might teach my children how to eat pepper, and then as adults they grow up and then they're like, well, I don't like food that is peppery. So what then happens? What happened to me suffering myself? Do you guys understand? So my second point is, do not compare your child with any child. Some mothers do this knowingly and some do it unknowingly. So for some women, it is in their bloodstream. It's like once they see you and they see your child, they start to ask questions like, when did she start walking? Mine started walking at 2 months. When did she start bringing out her teeth? Mine brought out her teeth by 3 months. When did she start going to school? When did she learn how to say ABC? When did she learn how to count her numbers? Does she know colors? Mine knows all the colors, primary and secondary colors. My child can say the 36 states and capital complete. And you guys, I've experienced this a lot of times. I went somewhere, I can't remember where I went to, and then the mother was asking me what class Ella was in, and then I told her, And I think I was asking Ella to say 1, 2, 3 or something, and Ella got to a point where she stopped, and then she was asking me, she was like, what class is she in? And I told her, she was like, at the same class with my son. My son says the 36 states and capital. And I'm like, wow, you know, that's good. Because for me, I was just thinking, why will I at that point ask my child to memorize? Why would they ask my child to memorize states and capital? She doesn't even know what country she comes from. Then she asked the child to say the states and capital, and the child was saying it, and he wasn't even audible enough. So I'm like, what is really the point of it? Because number one is that a lot of schools in Nigeria rush children. They rush children seriously, and I don't know what the aim is, and I don't know what their plan is, but I think it's the whole rush mentality has been so embedded into a lot of Nigerian mothers that they always feel the need to compare their child's development to another mother's child development, and it is so annoying. There is no point. At the end of the day, when they get to a certain stage in life, everybody kind of levels up. They get to that point where they are all in the same class, and then what happened to you getting to know ABC before my child? Do you understand what happened to that child getting to learn the alphabet before another child? It doesn't count any longer. So what is the point? And the most annoying one is when people try to compare children when it comes to how their bodies develop. That is just the one I cannot even stand, because that one, it is beyond your control. How do you control when your child walks? How do you control when your child can sit? How do you control how much hair your child grows? How do you control when your child starts to talk? How do you control, you know, it's just so annoying, and you find mothers do this a lot. So I went somewhere and I was talking to a mother, and we were talking about how children lose their teeth and all of that, and she was asking me how old my daughter Grace was, and I was telling her Grace was 6+. That it happened this year. I think it was my hospital. Many times these things happen in the hospital when I go for immunization with the children, and then you meet other mothers there. So she was asking me how old Grace was, and I told her Grace was 6, and she was like, wow, my daughter is 6 and her teeth haven't fallen off. Like, Grace at 6 has lost her teeth and they've all grown back, and she was bothered, she was worried. She was like, her child is 6, also going to 7, and her teeth haven't fallen off. And I was telling her it's a process, like, it will happen. It will happen. It's something that always happens, except the child has a disorder, but then it will happen. So just be patient. Like, where are we rushing? Where are we rushing to? Where are we rushing to? We're not going anywhere. Whenever the teeth fall out, that's fine. And then it's so crazy how we went to see family members, and all the children are like within Grace's age range. In fact, they are all older than Grace. All of them are about to clock 7. They all clocked 7 before Grace, but Grace is the only one that has all her teeth, that all her teeth have grown back. The other children all had like missing teeth up and down, all of them, and they all clocked 7 before Grace. So it's a development thing. Children will develop faster than others. It's the same thing when we went to school, and how we ended up finding that some girls had way bigger boobs than us. You know, this thing, it doesn't just happen when the children are little. It still goes all the way up, because it's just that when they grow up, it becomes a personal issue, because then they start to look at their mates, they look at how their bodies develop. If they are developing faster, they start to probably have an issue with the fact that they have more attention on them. So it's a gradual process, but I feel like we need to start letting children learn now that they are young about comparison. Why comparison really does not make sense. It doesn't make sense to compare yourself with someone else. There are things that are beyond our control that we shouldn't even be mentioning. My third one is that children are watching your every move. Like, those things you do that you feel are normal things, you feel are just part of your everyday lifestyle, they are watching you, and they are watching you so closely. You are like their #1 role model. Plus the fact that if you spend a lot of time with your children, trust me, they are going to copy a lot of the things that you do. I remember when Grace was little, and there was this day I said something and she hissed, and I was like, did she just hiss? Yeah, did she just hiss? It just happened that a lot of times I'm hissing, I'm like, and Grace just picked it up. it is really difficult, because a lot of times there are things that you just naturally, your body just naturally does. You don't even realize when you do these things, and your children are copying them from you. Even my baby Vicky, there's a way I give her, like, if you're a Nigerian mother and you don't look at your child with those Nigerian mother eyes, then what are you doing? Sometimes you don't need to talk, just give the sign with the eyes. Or Vicky climbs a lot. She climbs everywhere in my house. There, I don't think there's any place Vicky climbs except like shelves, but all the tables Vicky climbs, and my dining table Vicky climbs it. So a lot of times I don't like to talk and I don't want to shout, so I just look at her like. And there was a day my mom came to my house. The first time my mom noticed it, Vicky looked at her, was like, and my mom was like, what is going on? Like, I think Vicky just eyed me. And I was like, I don't think so. Why would Vicky eye you? Until Vicky did this thing to me, you guys. She will look at you and she'll be like. So they have very photographic memories, and anything you do, they are watching you so closely. And that's the reason why people also say, if you're married, try not to quarrel in front of your children. These things leave an imprint in their memories. It leaves a very strong imprint, and a lot of times the things that they see you do around them now begin to look normal. It's like when they grow up, and if you have a husband who shouts at you, or who screams, or who throws things, they start to feel these things are normal. And then when this starts happening to them, they feel like there was something they actually did wrong, and you know, that's why they are getting that from that man, when in the real sense of it, it's completely wrong. It shouldn't happen. I know it's difficult. Nobody's judging you if that has happened to you before. It is difficult, but it's something that you need to be intentional about. It's another point is, it may not always feel right. You may not always feel your best. You may not always feel like you're giving it your everything. And as a mother, there are times when I am so stressed, I am so tired. A lot of times I just have, like, just in a split second, I just have that feeling of regret. When I'm settled, I'm like, okay, why were you thinking like that? It is a lot of work, but trust me, you can go through those bad periods without beating yourself up about it. You don't have to feel like you're not doing a good enough job, or feel like one mother is doing better than you. And another thing I noticed about this whole motherhood thing is, a lot of times we try to compare the level of our slay with another mother's own. I don't know if I'm making any sense. You see a woman who has maybe 4 children, she looks like she's killing it. She's, you know, she comes out looking beautiful, her house is clean, she runs a business, you know, she's just killing it in every area. You start to compare yourself with her. People are built differently, people withstand things differently, people have different strength levels. Some people have 1 child, and you guys, they cannot do a lot of things, and I do not judge people like that, because I feel like if you know the things that are important and you know that you have to do them, then a lot of times you have to do them. Like, do them if nobody's going to do them, but then don't start to compare yourself with the next mother, feeling that she's doing so much and you're doing so little. There are really bad days. I want you guys to know that there are days that are really, really bad, where you'll be feeling like shit, you'll be feeling regret, you'll be feeling so down, and a lot of times you don't even have time to be yourself. You don't even have time to just reload, or like reboot, or replenish all the energy you've lost and all the love that you've given. And it's okay to feel that way. Most important thing is to find time for yourself, to just find time for yourself to breathe. At times you can sit on your own, meditate, and just breathe, or read a book, or do something that you love to do. But a lot of times I just want you guys to know that those bad moments will come, and it's okay. My last one is, don't be ashamed to ask for help. You guys, ask for help if you need help. Don't feel that because you have just 1 child and another person has 10 and they're not asking for help and they don't have help, that it means you have to kill yourself. When you feel like you're being worn out and you have an option to ask for help, please ask for help. It doesn't kill to ask for help. Ask your mom to please help you stay with the kids, even if it's for an hour, because this thing is so draining. I wonder how our mothers did it, but I feel like in those days our mothers sucked up a lot. They bottled up a lot of feelings, they bottled up a lot of pain. This is that era, this is that period where women are speaking out, where I am here for it. I am here for women speaking out. I'm here for women airing their views. I'm here for women saying exactly how it is that they feel, and you shouldn't do anything different. If you feel a certain way, talk to your friends, talk to people who love you, talk to people who would support you. You can say that you are tired. You can actually say that you are tired of mothering. I feel like there's nothing wrong with doing that, because that's exactly how you feel. But it doesn't stop the fact that you are responsible for these human beings that you brought into this world, and it doesn't take away from the fact that you are there to protect and care for them. But it's okay to feel like you're tired and you're worn out and you're just not into the whole thing at a certain period of time. Mentor yourself by watching other people who have children. Those people would motivate you, because in the real sense of it, I remember when I had my third baby and I was like, this motherhood thing is too difficult. And I remember that I asked on Insta story if anybody, I think it was Instagram, I posted a picture on Instagram, and then I asked if anybody knew of any mother who had 2 children and above. Because you guys, having 1 child is a different level, having 2 is another level, having 3 is another level, 4, the levels go up as you go. So I asked on Instagram, I said, if you know anybody that has 2 children and above, please tag them. I need to follow them. I need to understand. I know I might not be able to see their complete lives, but I just want to be able to look at them and watch them, you know, from just where I am, just see things that I can see, and that might just help to motivate me. And that was when people tagged a couple of mothers in my comment section, and I started following them, and I still follow them till today. No matter how little, whatever it is that I see, it motivates me and it just inspires me. It just makes me want to keep pushing, because it makes you feel like you're not the only one in this. A lot of women are also going through the same thing, and even though some women might not speak out about how they feel, I have a platform where I can come out and say, this is how I'm feeling, and I'm tired and I'm frustrated, and that's why I vlog, because I want to be able to just say I'm tired, and I want to be able to come across other women who are feeling the same way that I'm feeling, other women who can relate to whatever story it is that I'm sharing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know things that you feel that mothers should know, things that you have learned along the line being a mother that have helped you, you know, that have just helped to keep you sane. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.